Welcome to episode 1 of the Golf Podcast powered by Mayflower Sports. You can find us on Instagram at Mayflower Sports and Twitter at Sports Mayflower. Let's get into the 2021 Waste Management Phoenix Open. What did you think about it, Scoot?
Honestly, it was good, and for me, I don't watch too much golf up until the Players, which is in March now. Um, and for me, this one kind of had a lot going on for a pre Players tournament, which is good. Had a lot of big names, obviously. Um, First, for me, I turned it on or followed it on Thursday, and Steve Stricker is leading, and then leading after Friday, which was big. That's kind of that first got me.
It's surprising for sure. It's surprising to see someone of his age sort of step in and make that sort of play. And it'll be interesting if we can see that in the future with someone like Phil next week or, maybe Tiger in a future major. It'd be neat to see someone of that age kind of come forward and produce a victory. But it was definitely interesting to see Steve Stricker kind of come on strong off the bat.
Yeah, well, and two, I don't know if he would have been the oldest.
The oldest, yeah.
Yeah, he would have been the oldest to ever win. So that's kind of what I was kind of looking for that ultimately.
Yeah.
Obviously a few other storylines came about.
I mean, what a finish. We should start off with that. What a finish.
It,
It came down to literally the last few holes. Koepka holed out for eagle there on number 17 to kind of seal the deal. But what do you think of the finish overall? Pretty entertaining in general.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of, I remember, I forget you, I think you might have texted me or I texted you when he holed out. And I pretty much just said, like, that probably did it. Because Schauffele and Scheffler had to find two more birdies somewhere in the final three holes to tie, which Schauffele ended up doing. But he bogeyed the 17th. So ultimately, I mean, Koepka, what did he shoot? I think he shot like 6 under maybe for on final round with that eagle.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 6 or 7, I'd say.
Obviously, a sick hole out. Would have liked to see a playoff. I love playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, and it could have been a pretty sweet, it could have been a stacked playoff. I mean, if he ends up just birdieing it, Stricker maybe drains one on the last. It's a Stricker, Schauffele.
Koepka, maybe Spieth could have slid in there if he found another shot.
And the other fella who
James Hahn, or
no,
maybe
he
fell apart there at the end. Actually, I had a good laugh at that. He finally took the lead there for a couple holes, and it was duck hook after in the water. It was funny to see. Obviously, on his side of things, it's not great, and you got to feel a little bit of empathy for the guy. But overall, it was pretty entertaining to watch. I mean, yeah, we might as well touch on Spieth now. I mean, the guy obviously had a great week. Didn't hit one fairway. Well, can't say that. Didn't hit too many fairways.
No, looking like
still pulled it together.
No, exactly. Which obviously, like, that's like I would think it's a big confidence booster. Now he was still kind of acting like, doing his antics out there, which a lot of people don't like. But looks like me out there when I'm getting going. But I mean, he's at it again next week, which we can talk about that later. But that's going to be a big week if he kind of goes back to what he's been shooting, or if he tries to repeat another good performance. I mean, I had a couple notes on him, just real, like he hasn't won since 2017. No runner-ups since 2017, which is crazy.
Still none. Didn't even get one here.
Well, that's what I mean. He still couldn't, which is crazy because I would say at that point in time, he would have been in the top. I mean, he was one at one point. I know that. But he would have been considered top 3 players probably at that time. and then he
Yep.
ended up not, and he hasn't made the tour championship in the last since 2017 as well.
Yeah. No, I
Last three
remember
years.
going to the 2015 British Open at St Andrews and watching Spieth. He had
Oh,
already locked up two that year, and just seeing if he could get the Grand Slam.
wait,
And
you said the British Open.
yeah, the British Open. Yeah.
Were you at the one where he that really long delay
Um,
when he ended up and
this
everyone?
one he had it. He was very in the hunt. I think he might have lost by one shot. It went to a
Oh, I thought you
playoff.
said he
Zach
won. I thought
Johnson
you said
won.
the one that he won.
The one I was at, Zach Johnson won,
Oh,
and
okay,
he won in a
okay.
playoff over Mark Leishman and maybe Louis Oosthuizen.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I think you're right.
he was one back, and he just had to birdie 18, and the false front on 18 at St Andrews got him.
Yeah,
But overall, pretty exciting. I haven't seen Spieth like that in a long time, and I'm excited to see him kind of get back in a groove here. And maybe if he can hit some fairways, he could put up some low numbers and maybe win a major, win a big tournament here in the next year or two.
yeah. Well, I mean, and I think next week's big for him because as we meant, or like, I mean, we didn't mention, but it's not a stacked field by any means. He's
Mhm.
coming off a big tournament. Should be pretty confident, I'd say.
Mhm. Before we move on to the next field, Justin Thomas was having a pretty good week too, and obviously our condolences are for him and his family. His grandfather passed away, who was an inspiration for him on the PGA Tour. He passed away Saturday night, so which does not create a good environment to shoot well on Sunday. So he, I believe, shot +1 on Sunday and fell back a shot, but as expected with something like that happening to him. Other notables in the field, Rahm and McIlroy had two pretty good performances, -13, five back, six back of the lead. Quick maths. Um, yeah, that's about it. Corey Connors, highest Canadian finish, -12. We'll move on to
I would just say even too, like Shoffley. I remember reading there was a few things before the tournament. He even said he was choking these tournaments away,
mhm.
which kind of I don't know if it's worked as foreshadowing, I suppose, because he absolutely choked on
There's
17. I think he used less than driver on 17. Now I know he birdied 16, went less than driver. I'm pretty sure on 17, hooks it right into the water. And at that point he still has a chance for a par, and I think he got it like halfway to the hole. But with that all being said, I was looking up at his performance this whole year. He has 3 runner-ups in 7 starts, 3 more runner-ups last year,
hmm.
and you just can't get it done. But he even said himself before he was choking these tournaments away, and he finishes one back with a bogey on pretty easy hole.
Yeah,
To
arguably
end
one of
it.
the easiest. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like quietly been like a beast on the tour without any wins.
Hmm.
I was
You're
looking up
saying he's
in the last 4 seasons, he's finished in the top after the playoffs in the FedEx Cup, the top three times.
wow.
But he's just got no. I mean, he just can't win right now. And if he even converted a couple of those wins, a couple of those runner ups into wins, he'd probably be talked about as guys like not quite DJ or not quite Rom, but or JT, but kind of like those second tier, which he kind of already is, but then he'd kind of.
Would you say he's building that appearance of almost like Tony Finau, where he's consecutively having these runner-up finishes, but he can't just get the job done?
Yeah, but I think he's got a little bit more than Finau, to be honest. I
No,
love Finau.
I completely agree.
Like Finau played at Ashburn in the one of the Nova Scotia Opens.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah, I kind of got seeing him play. So I kind of big bomber, so it's kind of always root for him. But I think Shoffley has a little bit more. To
definitely.
be honest, not to say careers are still young, so who knows? But I'd say at this point, but obviously both, they're just not converting. Not to say it's easy to win at all, but
Definitely.
we'll see. It's a tough one.
Definitely.
Obviously, finished one back with a bogey on a pretty easy hole. You got to leave yourself. I was thinking about it. You got to leave yourself at least with a 10-foot birdie chance on that hole. At least give yourself a shot.
Exactly, especially in that position. That's all you could ask for is just an opportunity to tie for the lead and go into that playoff.
Yeah.
Anyway, after this short message, we will go into next week's field.
Munchie's HFX is located at 1840 Vernon Street, providing you several exotic snacks and sodas. Munchie's HFX is also Atlantic Lottery certified, so you make sure to stop by and grab all your Pro Line and lottery needs. Check out Munchie's Convenience on Instagram at Munchie's HFX and stay up to date with all the latest products.
Welcome back. To lighten the mood a little bit, we're going to start off with a bit of a funny clip from last week. Wasn't in the PGA, but out in the UAE, we had a bit of a funny clip from Dustin Johnson. Do you want to get into that a little bit, Scoot?
Yeah, that was, I don't know where it was. I think I was just scrolling Instagram or something like that. And just see Dustin just pound one off the tee, and he just smokes. Like, I don't know if it was a volunteer. Or, I think he got him in the back. Volunteer or fan. I don't know who it was. And, I mean, he wasn't hurt. I heard he wasn't hurt, but
he had a good limp off.
Funny. He just took it off the back and just went down. Like, it's funny. But honestly, then I got to thinking, like I've been to live events before, like a number of them. And, like, you're not always paying attention to what's going on. You'll be on one hole but looking off to another hole. Like, it can easily happen. And that gets you in the wrong spot. Like, it could be pretty bad.
Imagine, like, a bomb Dustin Johnson 350-yard drive just pounding you in the back of the head.
And he just – yeah, exactly.
This wouldn't
guy
wake up.
Back. But it was just like you just saw it. It was like one of those aerial views.
Yep.
And then he hits him. He just –
if we can put the clip up, we'll put it up, but it might be copyrighted.
And if he's going to miss it left because the flag is right.
Right leg nearly came up off the ground there. Went after that. Oh,
I think it got him on the padding. He's getting up quick. You can take away the pain, but you can't take away the swelling.
Overall, yeah, it was hilarious to watch. Obviously, guy looked like he got pretty banged up. He hit the deck pretty quick. I mean,
hopefully he's all right.
Hopefully he's all right. It's tough not to laugh in a situation like that, especially with someone like DJ who we know can bomb the ball, and that would not tickle one bit.
No,
but
that was just a funny clip from the weekend.
Yeah, we both had a bit of a roar at that, so that was funny. Anyway, let's get into this the field next week. It looks like it's a pretty good field. We're going to be looking at this next upcoming week. Why don't you get into that a little bit for us, Scoot?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad field. We saw the betting favorites right now are Cantley and Berger, which are probably fair. It's not, there's some interesting names in the field. It may not be a stacked field, but going down the list, we're going to see Phil and John Daly. So hopefully we can, see John still pounded out there, maybe wearing his cool pants or whatever.
I want to see John Daly crack some beers, maybe a cigar.
Honestly, like the PGA Tour, if they start going in that direction, if you could drink some beers on the course as the players, I'd be down. I wouldn't care.
It's the dream.
That's like real golf, right? I mean,
to make that quantity of money, to be outdoors, do some exercise, crack some beers. What else is there to do?
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, too, just speaking of Daly, like I was watching the father-son a couple months back, and his kid who was I think he's gonna go to Arkansas as well. I think it was Arkansas. He pounds the ball too.
Oh yeah, he looks like a small version of him, to be completely frank.
Which is good. John Daly's a pretty big boy there, but yeah, he pounds the ball. So we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see him in a few years, see how he fares out.
Hopefully
maybe
this lays off the darts a little bit and the Diet Cokes. I think he was just ramming those down his throat for a bit.
Yeah, just imagine a John Daly Jr. and a Charlie Woods playoff for the Masters or something like that. Wouldn't that be a sight to see?
Could happen. Give it a little bit. Charlie, he looked great too. That was fun. That was some of the most fun I had in like watching TV over kind of the quarantine. I mean, I know like the playoffs happen for basketball and hockey and all that, but just that little stuff. For me the Tiger and Peyton Manning, Phil, didn't really live up, at least for me. It was fun, don't get me wrong. It was like raining though and all that. Brady just like sucked.
He hit that hole out though, which was kind of
he
cool
did
to
hit
watch.
that hole out. Yeah. Besides that, he looked bad. But to be fair, he probably wasn't playing a whole lot, considering. But
to touch on that tournament a little bit, though, that is one of those tournaments that, you don't look at the year and be like, I want to watch this tournament. Like you're looking at the Masters, the British Open, the majors, etc. But that's just one that creeps up on you. And, every time I watch it, I have a good time. It's neat to see those big stars, their kids, and see how they're progressing because, they're getting the same treatment, the same training, etc. that they want to get and that Tiger would give himself, that John Daly would give himself. So it's fascinating to see them kind of grow up a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool too to like just see them in their own like element. You don't really get in other sports necessarily. The All-Star Game's probably the only other.
Even then, you don't see Tom Brady's kids come out on the football field and perform or anything like that.
And just like it's always nice to see like them laid back, just chatting and with their kids and all that. And I guess just to stay on topic with the upcoming week, it's unfortunate because this is a week where usually it's the Pro-Am, which I don't know if the players are too stoked about the Pro-Am, but I know like a lot of viewers are. You can see some characters out there.
Oh yeah.
So you see how the celebrities are hitting it, but obviously this year it's not going to happen. Just fair. And then obviously a big name playing is Spieth is going to go again, which is probably a really big week for him. Personally, not really professionally, I wouldn't say. I mean, he's going to. If he doesn't do well, he doesn't do well. But I'd say for him, it's going to be big for the confidence. I'd say. Just coming off of last week, I think it was T4. He finished, especially in not a deep field. Seeing if he can repeat, maybe hit a few more fairways, and you never know. That'd be a big win.
It would be, yeah. And just to be transparent as well, the field this week is absolutely shocking.
Yeah,
to put it frankly, the field this week is pretty shocking. I mean, obviously, every single one of these guys on tour would slap me around on the golf course.
They could beat me left or wrong-handed, but
yeah, exactly. But as it comes with the big names, there's very few of them this week.
I feel just looking through.
I mean, it's tough to spot them out. It's like a needle in a haystack to find a decent name this week.
Some names are big in 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago. But
Molinari's playing. He had like that couple years there. And then he fell. And then when Tiger won, I think he's still trying to get over that.
Yeah.
GG's
to Molinari for that. But I'll always thank him for giving us that victory.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'm just running through these names here, and it's KJ Choi.
There you go.
Who would have thought? Ricky's in it.
Yeah,
That's
Ricky.
A big name. He hasn't really been doing much lately, though.
Yeah,
honestly,
no.
I'm kind of wondering. He's always kind of been that guy that's he's got the talent, but doesn't necessarily translate into top finishes. He's always like kicking, but oh well, he's got a hot life.
So if you had to pick one guy this week, say there's all the odds are the same. Who are you taking? Who's winning this week?
I'm honestly taking Spieth.
You're taking Spieth.
And I'm not I wasn't a huge when I saw Spieth's name in contention or leading after he was leading after 3, right? He was tied.
Yep.
Like back in 2013, 14, like I wasn't or no 17 when that's kind of his last good year. I admittedly I wasn't a huge fan of Spieth.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he was a bit of he kind of he'd whine a bit on the course, and I don't know. I just had other guys I cheered for, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like golf is better. Like if you can add him back in the mix, if you can add him back in like as a top tier player, it's like one of those things that are better for the sport.
Definitely, he's one of those guys that you can see the fire in his eyes and he wants it, but there's something holding him back right now, and
his
head, clear it's his driver.
Yeah, it probably started when he missed that Tour Championship. We finished 31st, and I don't know if people remember, like that messed up his. What was it? He was banking on that 31st or that Tour Championship to get in his certain amount of tournaments. Missed it, got a slight disciplinary the next year because he didn't hit enough tournaments. And after that, he just hasn't been the same. So I wonder if missing that Tour Championship really, because I mean, geez, he's had a tough go in the last like 3 years. So
he has, yeah.
Hopefully, but again, I'm more of I'm more of a fan of him, and to come back. I like a good comeback.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm rooting for Spieth. I'd like to see him win this week and get that fire back in his belly. And hopefully see him come out strong here for the next little bit. I'd love to see JT, Spieth, Rahm, DJ, Rory, just guns a-blazing, all of them popping off. Yeah. Just seeing big numbers, under par.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many guys now, I feel, that are so good, even like Morikawa and all them.
Yeah, Morikawa, Hovland. Love to see Tiger.
Like younger, cooler guys. Yeah, who knows? Hopefully, I think he went through a little surgery a little while ago. I think, or something.
Yeah, so he went through. Yeah, some sort of. I think it was a.
I don't know if it was.
I shouldn't say. I'm not sure. But what about your guy Patrick Reed? Sorry, I touched on it a bit last week in the Game of Inches podcast. But what do you think about his whole thing?
So, like, I followed it, and I was a little confused. And obviously, like, for me, that situation, like, if I might be mistaken, but I think they were playing under a lift, clean, in place that day.
They were, yes.
Which, like, would that not mitigate? Like, if it was lift, clean, in place, he could lift it up anyway.
I think. And I could be mistaken here, but I think the ball has to be embedded in the rough in order to lift, clean, and place it on a wet day, I believe.
Maybe. I thought lift, clean, and place was at all times, and then I thought the embedded was a separate rule.
Okay. We'll have to fact check that because I'm not 100% confident myself.
Either way, like, I don't know. The way I saw that and the way I read the rule, that the only thing he was a little bit quick maybe was to pick the ball up. But I think he was getting a lot of hate, which, like, comes with it.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I was not a huge Patrick Reed guy. And that's another guy we just mentioned, failed to mention, in like guys that can go low at any point. But
yeah.
Again, I'm still not a huge fan of him. But to me, actually, the more he's in the news for this type of stuff, I'm just liking him even more.
Really? That's interesting because it's almost the opposite for me in a sense where I kind of hear stuff like that. And I mean, obviously news like that is intriguing and exciting to follow. But at the same time, I wouldn't say I root for him or anything like that more, or I would say I would root for him less. Just because of this.
Yeah, I guess I don't really root for him more to win. I just like root for him to be more in the, like, I wish he's just in the news all the time.
Mhm. My thing is why call the official over after you have already moved your ball?
That's a fair point. But see, here's what I'm thinking is like, it's like the last time he didn't call on it. Like, it's like if it's almost like I feel like he was calling it over so he didn't get shit on by everyone.
But then
And
at
now
that point, you might as well just leave your ball.
Yeah. But see, that's why I'm confused, because if it was lift clean in place, now obviously I'm not there's a million rules in golf. I mean, who knows? You and I play around in golf, we probably break like a rule a hole at least, I would say.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? But that's
if I'm playing with my roommates, it's probably 15 a hole.
Exactly. So, but if it was lift clean in place now, yeah, someone would have to explain this to me more. But I think you could just pick it up. And then I thought he was calling the rules official over to just like confirm where the drop was, because I thought the embedded ball was a different rule than lift clean in place. Again, not a rules expert, have no real clue. But then like Rory did kind of the same thing, right? And obviously he gets the benefit of the doubt. He did the exact same thing, just didn't call the rules official over.
Yes, but didn't someone step on his ball or something like that? I think it was an official, when they were looking for his ball in the rough, accidentally stepped on it, and then they got an email sent out the week later that it was sent out to all the PGA Tour players that was saying basically Rory McIlroy's ball was stepped on. It was seen in the video footage.
Did Rory see that?
He didn't know. He didn't know when he went up to his ball, but his ball was embedded.
Yeah.
So he played it as an embedded ball. He lifted it up, placed it, and I guess
what Reed did, right? Like the rules official confirmed it was embedded.
That's a little bit sketchy. It's up in the air because they showed the footage. Well, first we should start off with that Patrick Reed went up, and whether it's official or someone standing there, I'm not sure, a fan, could have been whoever, but they said the ball did not bounce to Patrick Reed. Agreed. They said it just stuck right in the ground.
Yeah,
which is fair for him to assume it's an embedded ball.
Yeah, I think it was like a volunteer or someone, like one of those like ball finder people on the
exactly. And then the footage came out, and it showed Patrick Reed's ball, and it showed it hit the rough, and it bounced probably about 2 or 3 feet off the ground, and then just stopped and took place. So in my eyes, it couldn't be embedded unless it was very wet.
But it is lift clean place, and yeah, who knows? Maybe he didn't see. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. But he did ask, and they did say it didn't bounce.
All I'm saying is, if I'm Patrick Reed, with all the speculation in the past with cheating and all that sort of thing, and if there's any speculation at all, I'm making it clear as day. I'm calling the official over. I'm saying, what do we do here, brother?
I just think he did. I think he was thinking that because he did call him over. Now, like, what would the official done if he didn't move the ball? You think? Obviously, we don't know really, but because he did call it over, everyone's mad because he called him over like after he moved the ball.
Yeah.
So I would assume the result wouldn't have been different. It's just he's just simply not getting the benefit of the doubt, which he probably doesn't deserve.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, I don't know the rules completely correct as well.
Yeah, but I think the rules are like the fact that the players don't even know the rules. Like I don't know the rules.
No, exactly. I mean,
players don't even know the rules. There's so many weird rules.
No, I know exactly. I mean, it's impossible to know each detail.
Exactly, it's tough. So, but he'll never get the benefit of the doubt.
No,
which is fair. But I don't hate that there's a guy, because golf is one of those sports where you're playing against the course, right?
Yeah,
you're not really playing against the other. You are playing against the other competitors, but
they can't affect
you. You don't have an effect. Now, you maybe could like a little bit, but
Tiger could, but that's about it.
Yeah, generally you don't. So it's kind of nice to have that villain, I suppose. It's kind of doesn't seem to affect him either. So it's not like I don't think he's going home at night and crying about it. So
yeah.
Either way, he won by landslide. It wouldn't have mattered, I don't think. We were won by a few strokes. So
yeah, it didn't matter at the end of the day. He won by like 4 or 5 or something like that. But
I think he was just getting a little bit too much hate in that. If you just isolate that one incident, I think he's getting a little bit too much hate, especially since the Rory thing. But
yeah, no,
way, I thought it was kind of I guess just to my point, and also I'm texting you this. I don't know what sportsbook it was, but they refunded everyone's picks.
Right.
Who didn't pick Patrick Reed, which I think is like
that's pretty crazy in my eyes.
Fired up, but like, and also a little pissed if I picked Patrick Reed to win and everyone gets their money back. But
definitely, it was definitely a bit of a unique circumstance with that book returning their money. I mean, they must know more about the rules than we do, that's for sure, because by the sounds of it, we don't know too much.
Yeah, they probably just were getting complaints and all that. They're probably like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I'm sure there weren't that, like, I don't know.
My thing is the players in the interviews that watched it afterwards saying things like it was sketchy.
Yeah, well, like,
stuff like that.
Back to the point, like, they're just like, he's not going to get any remorse anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair.
Which is whatever. I know. Honestly, they probably don't even know. Like, they probably don't even know the rules. They're just like, look sketchy, right?
Yeah, that would be funny if they were on and they didn't know the rules and.
Well, because they always call the official over, right?
Oh, exactly. And I mean, if I was a tour pro too, and especially with what's happened with Patrick Reed in the past, I'd be hard on the officials to come over for everything too.
Yeah, golf rulings are weird because you always see it. I forget. I think was it Rahm in that major? He just or was it?
Yeah, and it was from the rough, and his ball moved a little.
What I hate is that they don't give you a ruling right away.
Yeah,
they'll let you wait, and the viewers
mm-hmm.
and even the players, they're reviewing it in the back somewhere for 5 holes. And then, like, are they waiting for the result of the tournament or something like that? So and I think in that case he was given the penalty, but it didn't affect anything.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But I think they should should be a rule that if you have to give the penalty or not give the penalty there and then.
That would be an interesting rule for sure.
Because it's like too many people it's like like where there's no goal. It's like in hockey, you can, they call it no goal on the ice, and then all of a sudden, a period and a half later.
Well, did you see what happened in that Columbus game the other day?
I would have been like, I mean, I've coached hockey. I would have lost my mind. If they I would just don't tell me that they got it wrong. You know what I mean? Or at least don't tell me during the game. Right? Like,
you would have been on the ice.
I would have been on the ice probably. That was weird. Yeah, and they took the penalty off the board too.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of the strangest sporting moments I've ever witnessed. But I mean, to get back to that new ruling you were talking about, I mean, I feel like DJ would appreciated that back in the U.S. Open those many moons ago.
That was I still have an issue with that.
Yeah.
I mean, my thing with that rule was, how can you let the spectators stand in a bunker for 4 days and then consider it a bunker?
Yeah. Crazy.
Like, how would he know? How literally they had to back them up. It was like a waste bunker.
Yeah.
And the spectators were just standing in it for like the whole entire tournament. And he grounds his club because he's like, well, this is literally where they were standing. Well, that was crazy. Just
it was
right off, but yeah, that was
cost him the tournament. One ruling.
Yeah, that was nice.
Moving on from rulings, we'll move on to another new ruling that we'll see here in the PGA Championship moving forward. What do you think about this new ruling?
Yeah, you're referring to that just came out an hour ago.
Yep.
Which I like. So they're going to allow rangefinders in the three majors, at least for men's, that the PGA Tour sanctions. I'm not quite sure on the amount of the women's and the senior, but they're going to be allowed as well. But the three, the PGA, the Masters, and the U.S. Open, going forward, at least for this year, I don't know the timeline.
Just to speed up the pace of play, right? That was the whole concept behind it.
Which, like, I'm all for. They always, I shouldn't say always, because they do pick some wrong clubs sometimes. The caddy gets it wrong every now and again, but more times than not, they get the right number or they get it close.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was telling you this off air before the show that I think it was Xander on the weekend had a shot and it was 126 yards, as caddy said to him, or Xander said it back, 126 yards, right? Just clear as day on the screen. You could see exactly 126 yards. So it's just dead on. I mean, these caddies know their yardages.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember once at the Ashburn Club Champ, like they even gave us yardage books.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With flag positions, and then you have markers, but then you also have markers off bunkers and stuff like that on your book.
Yep.
So I mean, if you walk it off, these caddies know by now how much elevation change. They've been doing this a long time. That if it's 150 yards, but a little bit of an increase, give it 3 more yards, or if it's a little bit more, give it 6 more yards. Like they know that. But if this, even if this, 30 seconds an approach shot over 16 holes, or sort of 18 holes, literally that, that just speeds it up. And that's what people, obviously that's like a pretty hot topic these days. There's nothing worse than you're playing with your buddies and you're waiting every single hole. Yeah. Every single shot. It's the worst. Like I don't think I minded it too much as a kid. I don't know, but
yeah, it's just a waste of time. But these caddies are hitting these numbers right on the dot more times than not anyway. So in my eyes, it doesn't really change anything. I mean, the golfers are still hitting those same spectacular shots.
What they should do, they should just get this. Obviously, it sounded better in my head, but the coverage obviously has, like, I don't know how they get the yardage.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they just tell them? Like, obviously that takes a little bit. I mean, I know they probably won't ever do that because that's like takes away a little bit of like a competitive advantage.
Yeah. They're just like, Tiger, it's 130 yards here. And then he hits his 130-yard shot and it flies the green.
Yeah. But obviously pace play, because I think they play some of those. I think some of those rounds are pretty long.
Oh, they are. They do get long. I mean, they walk them all too as well.
I think some of those can get up to 5 hours, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's slow players on tour too. I mean, some people might not think it. They might think, well, I'm hitting 10 shots every hole. There's no way I could be as fast as, I don't know who's really the slowest on tour just offhand here. But let's just say a guy like, I don't know. I couldn't even tell you.
I want to say Rory Sabatini got a bad.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look that. I want to say.
But like these guys can take 4, 5, maybe even 6 hours on the golf course, and they're only hitting like 67 shots. It can get a little outrageous after a while. I mean,
agreed. It can get crazy.
I mean, I know like Keegan Bradley's the guy that
the
comes
big
off
one
the
with
ball.
JB Holmes.
JB Holmes, yeah, I've heard that name.
Yeah, I just looked it up real quick. Yeah,
I mean, that guy hits the ball like 350 yards. He should have like 10 minutes on every approach shot.
Yeah, no. So so that was just obviously a cool little rule change that I know some people are going to be like old people who are just left in the dust are going to be probably up in arms, but the caddies pretty well get the right number.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, in my opinion,
zap it wrong too. I mean,
yeah, and in my opinion, I think it should be left in the hands of the players and the caddy. I know you sort of threw out there the idea of the
no,
TV.
I know that was never.
Yeah, no, I understand, and I can see how it's a little out there, but yeah, if you just leave it in the hands of the caddies and the players, and they make those mistakes, then it's on them. Whereas
mistakes will still be made with
definitely
with the rangefinder. Hopefully, they just want those mistakes to be made quicker.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a rangefinder, you should be able to zap it, figure out the shot you want to hit, whether it's cut, draw, low, high, whatever. Should be able to figure that all out in 1 minute. Seriously, shouldn't take more than a minute.
Yeah, because I remember. Yeah, I mean, like seeing people on the golf course like walking it out when we're playing. It's like, oh my god, and then they shank one into like, it's like, oh yeah, it's going to be, they walk to the nearest sprinkler head, walk back.
That's always the best.
And then they just shank one. You're like, okay.
It always feels good too when you're on a fairly short par 5 and you bomb a driver out there 300 yards. You got like 200 in or something like that. And you're waiting for them to clear the green, and then you wait 5 minutes, and then finally you just shank yours just from the center of the fairway about 200 out.
That's a bad feeling, but we've all been there.
Yeah, but do we have anything else to talk about here today, or what? Celebrations. You wanted to talk about celebrations.
Yeah, this probably wasn't. I mean, obviously, if you follow like golf Twitter, golf Instagram, or anything like that, you saw guy Nick Hardy. I think he's 25. It was saying, I think, but Monday qualified, and the video came out, and he was just fired up. Just like gave like 4 fist pumps, like some big ones. Just gave his caddy a big high five there. And I think he might even dropped an F-bomb. I might be wrong about that. But
who cares?
Yeah, but
he looked like old school Tiger. It had me fired up too.
Exactly. And he ended up finished tie 42. Not a bad finish. So he gets in, gets paid. But I guess I wanted to bring that up because golf can get a little bit stale sometimes, especially rounds 1 to 3, and even like the front 9 and 4.
Yeah,
and even some guys will win. Like, and DJ comes to mind. I mean, he has so many wins, and obviously it's just the guy he is. But I would like to see him just double fist pumping to the crowd. Like that's what I want to see. And I know you can't. I know you
That's
can't.
What we all want to see.
You can't fist pump too much on like the 5th hole of the tournament. Like I get it.
Yeah.
But like I would even like to see a little bit. And like when's the last time you saw like a fist pump on like an approach shot? Like because they're all scared that if you miss the putt, it looks dumb. But like,
yeah. Well, I mean, if we look at Brooks Koepka this weekend, I mean, I was watching with Noah, my roommate, and I mean, he had already finished up by the time Schauffele was coming in to seal the deal for him. But I mean, he was just on his phone, just like
true. I
just
saw
looking
that.
He was like scrolling through Twitter or Instagram or something. Like it pops up on the screen like 2021.
Yeah,
Waste Management Phoenix Open champion, and like he didn't even look up from his phone. He's just like kind of scrolling. Yeah. He's like, I'll double tap that one. That's a pretty nice picture. Yeah. It was just like, holy Lord, man, show some enthusiasm. You just won the.
I think it's because like golf is brought up as like a gentleman's sport, but whatever that even means.
Yeah, fuck that. Fuck the gentleman's sport, man. I want to see some fire.
That's what I mean. Like, so that guy just selling on his I know it's in Monday qualify, obviously that's a time to do it. I mean, you get a chance to play for big money. But I would just love to see it just way more often.
Oh, man. Nothing gets me more fired up than watching like a compilation of Tiger winning tournaments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's running around.
Like those are like big, putts to it's always on putts, right? I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's tough to get away from it, maybe some drives. I would love to see like you just bat flip your drive to your caddy real quick after like a sick drive. But I know it's like that's probably not going to happen.
The one I'm dying to see this weekend is John Daly after he hits a drive, get the Stone Cold Steve Austin going. Maybe a couple fans throw some beers to him, shake him up, smash him on the dome. I'd love to see it. I'd pay an extra $20 for John Daly to do that on TV.
Yeah, weekend. No, I agree. I just think just sometimes I would just want to see golf a little bit more, sporty in that
emotional.
Sense.
We want to see the emotions of the players. I want to see
guys feeling it now.
Like Tiger.
It's one of those. Yeah, go on.
I just want to see guys like Tiger, showing their emotions, whether they're in contention, they make a big putt near the end, given, the classic Tiger uppercut or something.
Yeah.
I want to see some emotion. I want to see, and I mean, it's tough to say right now with the no fans and all that sort of thing.
Sure, I guess that's kind of. Now, there were some fans, obviously, like, state. It's probably like state.
I think it was 5,000 fans were allowed at the Waste Management last week. But I mean, to put it in perspective, the 16th hole grandstand holds over 16,000 people typically.
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy. But I mean, look at that Tiger hole-in-one. Do you remember that celebration? I watched that just the other day because obviously they show it every year for this tournament.
Yeah,
I mean, that gives me goosebumps. That's what I want to see.
I want the shot of your life, and like. I mean, if I was in front of all those people trying to hit a golf shot, it'd be.
I don't care if I go up there on 16 with 16,000 fans and I shank one into the woods. I'll be running around, tagging everybody's hand, having the time of my life. Maybe I'll even do a Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I remember when they were doing caddy races. That was a little funny. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan. It was kind of funny for that 1 year, or whatever. It was kind of awkward, but
yeah. I just want to see some emotion, man. That's all I want to see out of golfers nowadays.
Yeah. I'm just glad that guy. It was obviously a huge moment. I mean, Monday qualifying, but I would love to see it just in general, just get more integrated into round, even a little bit more in the first round. You're not going to be fucking.
You're not going to be riding around the horse on the first round, but a fist pump here and there. Show some emotion. That's all I'm saying.